Hello, 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 and hello again. Hello again, hello again. It is nice to see you waiting for what we have for you today. Thank you very much for coming by, stopping by. Thank you for being here. We are so glad we are alive and well. What else can we say than to be thankful? Thank you very much for finding time to connect to listen to what we have for you today. You know, we're all about informing, educating, and inspiring. I've got a lovely guest for us today. And that guest, I will show you her page first before I ask her to introduce herself. And that is her page. So that is her page. And she is someone who deals with real estate. Yes. So she helps income earners use innovative strategies to invest in real estate successfully. So she's your go to person when it comes to real estate. And I'm glad to have her here. Get your questions ready. Get your questions ready because she is going to be telling us so much about what we need to know. So, no question is too big, no question is too small, no question is foolish, no question is above and beyond. So, get ready your questions. Write in the comment down below. Make sure you are interacting with her because hey, it's a rare opportunity to have someone leave their very busy life to come and attend to the show. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you because I know you're going to be interacting with her. And before I call her on the screen, like I said, I would like you to like, share, comment, and put your questions down. There's no question too big. That's the bottom line. I'll invite on the screen Lerato, my sister. You are welcome. My sister.
Hi, how are you? Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much for coming here to dish out your stuff, like I said, to dish it out to us so we can learn from your wealth of experience. Thank you
Yeah,
very much. So
you.
I will go with the first question.
Yeah,
Before we actually ask you questions, we want to know you more. I know it's not just about that's not all about you. So you can tell us more about, can you share a bit about yourself and your role in the real estate industry?
sure, absolutely. So my name is Lerato Lekena-Okoro. I'm a property investment broker. I didn't start out by being a property investment broker. I actually worked through the ranks of being a real estate consultant and a real estate agent. Essentially, that's what a lot of us know. That's how we are identified here. I started out by being a agent here, helping people to buy and sell property. And over time, I literally just grew into the role of being a property investment consultant, which means that I now help people to plan for their investments. So you have a goal and you say you want to be a millionaire, and you say you want to be a millionaire and own real estate. My job is to help you plan, help you envisage, help you create a strategy through which it is that you can use real estate to
Mm,
actually achieve your goals. Planning for real estate a lot of times hasn't been something that a lot of people were used to doing. But right now, we are finding that people are starting to actually do that. So that means that it helps me. People like me, we're more in demand. Yes, it still is a lot of work, but it's a very interesting field. People sometimes say, "Well, why do I need you?"
mm,
And the question then becomes, "You need me because you need to be able to plan ahead. You
yes.
can't just go into it and say, oh, you're just going to invest in real estate. Real estate is so diverse that you have to know what it is that you need to do to be able to help you achieve your goals." So yes, that's a bit about me. I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria, but I have clients across the world.
Mm.
I mean, I have clients who ask me, how can I make this work for me? I'm in this location, I'm in this location. But yeah, I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria. I operate out of Lagos, Nigeria. And yeah, that's about me.
Wow, interesting. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that. And the topic for today is planning for a new year with real estate. And
Yes.
we're thinking, okay, it's December, the end of one year. We're going into
Yeah.
another year.
Yes.
Do we wait till we get into the year and see what it has for us, and then open it up like a present, and oh, okay, maybe
Hmm.
I can do this, or we plan ahead? So that's why we are here,
Yes.
to encourage people to start reflecting even before they get into the year. So you don't just happy new year and then you're like, okay, yeah, so what do I want to achieve this year? No, doing that now,
Yeah.
as we have just few more days to the new year. So thank you for introducing yourself. Next question is, looking at this year, because we're at the end of one year, what were
Mhm.
some significant trends or changes you observed in the real estate markets?
So earlier in the year, I'd actually done a video that talks about trends of 2023.
Okay.
I mean, there were so many things that we hoped that people would look out for. We hoped that people would get onto, but I mean, there's always the stage of planning, and then there's
Mm,
always the stage of the reality. 2023 became a very pivotal year, I like to call it, because a lot of things changed, a lot of realities changed,
mm,
and people always had to adapt. So in adapting, some key trends that worked and that became more prominent for 2023 was the fact that people started looking at real estate as something that is going to pay them.
mm,
A lot of years we had people who would say, "Oh, I'm buying land because in 10 years, in 20 years, I know that it's going to become something." But then
yeah.
with 2023, it became a thing of, no, I want to invest in real estate now so that I can
Mm,
start to make money. So
yeah.
people, that mindset shift started to really become really prominent and evident, and it became something that was, got higher demands for it from investors. Another thing that was very key that happened this year was the fact that people started to see that real estate actually requires a lot of work.
Mm,
So it's not enough for you to have a property and then you assume, oh, the money is going to flow naturally. I mean, people started to see, oh, okay, so there are different things, there are different ways in which it can work. People who had property and were coasting through the idea of that property was making money for them started to see that they needed to put in work into
mm,
making sure that their property kept making them money. Because when you look at it and you say 2023 is that year where a lot of people had to become very prudent. So where people would naturally say, "Oh, I'm just going away," I mean, a lot of those things changed. A lot of demand for, "Oh, I just want to go hang out something somewhere." It became very, "Do I need to go there?" So you as a property
mm,
owner, you had to make sure that you were not just for the good times, but you could then position yourself to say, "I am in need." You need to be able to stay somewhere. So these were two trends that I like to recap. I mean, hold on to and say these were things that really changed in 2023, became more prominent with 2023, and were things that a lot of people in the real estate market would tell you when they say, "Oh, I'm in the real estate market," and these were things that they'll be like, "2023 showed me shege because I was
mm,
not ready for this." But I mean, we're here, and it's been a journey, and
mm,
for people who caught on very quickly, they were able to reduce the impact on
mm.
themselves, and I would say that it's definitely going to continue for 2024.
Wow, wow. So you kind of answered the next the next question, saying what is the, well, let me say, what is the prediction
Yeah.
for the new year?
Yes.
You just told us. But for those who are just joining in and thinking real estate, what is real estate about? Do you want to just throw more light a bit? Or maybe there are youths listening and thinking, oh, she's talking about real estate. What exactly is real estate? Could you please?
Yes. So I like to define real estate as this thing that is more than just the asset itself. So
Mm,
real estate generally covers lands, houses, properties in general, right? Every time people think real estate, the first thing that a lot of people think is they think, oh, it's something that they should own. It's something
mm,
that would be like a status symbol. And all, I actually say real estate is no longer just a status symbol, but it's actually a tool that people need to be able to use. There are
mm,
people who have lands and their lands are fallow. I have no judgment. I mean, I hold no prejudice against them, but I mean, when you have land and then it is fallow, then you are only just acquiring it as a status symbol. When you want to then be able to use real estate, what you would be doing if you had that would be that you were going to put the land to use. So I say real estate is a tool. It's a thing that you acquire, but it becomes a tool that you use to create wealth.
Yeah.
Everything that we do literally relies on real estate. You're at home, you're at work, you go to a shop, you go to the market, you go to a hospital. All of that is built on real estate. So when people are saying, how do I invest in real estate? My question then becomes, what part of real estate do you want to play in? Because you have to understand what part you want to play in for you to even understand what part it is, what type of real estate you have to buy, what it is that you want it to be able to do for you. So you see what I say? It's actually a whole lot more than just, oh, any type of real estate. It's a whole lot of things. Yes. So yes, that would be a fair definition of what real estate is and how it works.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. To those just joining in, thank you for joining in. We've said, please send your comments, questions, comments, and whatever it is you want to say, because we have an expert in the house. Let's make use of this resource we have here. Thank you. So, the impact of external factors. How do you anticipate external factors such as economic conditions, global events affecting the real estate landscape in 2024?
So the biggest one that I think that people have to always consider is the financial. Financial from both perspectives, from the person who is actually the investor and the person who is actually going to be the customer, right? Because for real estate to truly work, it has to have a balance from both sides. An investor has to know what it is that they can buy that would solve their need or their want. And you should also be able to say, when you are buying this, you're considering the person who's going to patronize you, because it's only when someone patronizes you technically that you actually optimize your earning capacity. Yes, real estate will always appreciate, but if you just buy real estate and you expect for it to appreciate, then you are going to be shortchanging yourself. Especially now in 2024, where there is, so in Nigeria, for example, let's even go here. In Nigeria, for example, there's a housing deficit. People don't have houses. People are always looking for houses. But if you go and you're buying real estate that does not fulfill the type of people who are looking for housing, then you're just dancing around it. So that is definitely going to become one of the biggest external factors that would always resonate with how it is that people are getting into real estate, how it is that people are using real estate to benefit themselves and achieve their goals, and also how it is that we are going to be able to say real estate remains valuable. There are a lot of things around, oh, but people don't want to pay their rents, people don't this and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But there are people who don't default on their rents.
Mm.
There are people who have life has become so hard that they are going to have to downsize from a certain type of property or home into a different type of home.
Yeah.
So anybody who's trying to invest in real estate, you have to consider all of these factors for you to be able to use it to optimize your own venture going into real estate. And this is where we say that we stay on top of everything that's happening in the market, and we understand why and how, and then we use it to plan for our clients. We help use it, so use all that information and data with our clients to help them plan.
Okay, great, sure. Thank you very much. Yes, you've thrown a lot of light into getting real estate and the fact what affects the growth of someone getting into that field. And some people will say, "Oh, but I'll need a loan. I'll need to get some money from the bank, mortgage, this, that." My next question is regarding interest rates and financing. We know cash flow is very low now.
Yes,
I think it's everywhere. It's not
it's
just
everywhere.
everywhere. So how do you see? Because here, even with us, they've increased the interest rates. I don't know how many times now. We're counting now. We just lost count.
It's lost
Maybe 10,
count.
11, 12 times now. Every time you just see a letter in the post, oh, interest
Yeah,
rates has increased by
yeah,
something percent. Oh, goodness.
yeah.
So for those who are on variable mortgage and things like that. Anyway, so how do you see interest rates shaping the real estate market, and what impact might this have on buyers and sellers?
So generally speaking, I think interest rates would, in the short term, be
Mm,
a deterrent. But if you're someone who's coming into the market, especially on for a long term, then you
mm,
would also understand that the interest rates cannot always remain what they are. We cannot keep having the challenges that we have as regards interest rates, cash flow forever. Things will stabilize, things will get
mm,
fixed. All we need is just that bit of time. Now, you owning real estate, you own it for life. So if you say because of the interest rates that you're going to not acquire real estate that you need, then chances are that you're going to be pricing and
mm,
pushing yourself out of the market. Reason being that if you don't acquire it now, even if the interest rates should drop, the price of the property may not drop.
mm,
So interest rates are what they are, but you can still use that to your advantage,
mm,
being that you would either be changing what type of real estate it is that you're getting, and then you're ensuring that you keep it optimal, you keep it viable, and you're able to say, yes, the interest rates are high, but at the same time, there's a high demand for people that need it. So you
mm,
can basically balance it out like that. Now, you would also be looking at the fact that you say, oh, interest rates are high. So people who own properties and that they want to sell may just have that little bit of room where they would say, let's negotiate on price because we know that the interest rate is high. So
mm,
that then becomes something, an opportunity or leverage that it is that you who wants to buy real estate would
mm,
be able to consider and use to your advantage.
mm.
Again, I keep saying that you always have to look at the big picture. Remember the fact that you're in this for the long run, long
Okay.
term, not just for the now. So anything you're experiencing now is not going to last forever.
Mm. True, true. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next question. So those online, please send your comments. I can see a few people online. Send your comments. I think you're giving it all out. You're explaining it properly, so no one is asking questions. That's the way I would like to see it. Okay, technology and innovation. Are there any emerging technologies or innovations in the real estate industry that you think will play a significant role in the coming year? Everyone, all ears, because you need to hear this.
Um, yes, I do. I do think that there is going to be a lot, not a lot, but an increase in the use of technology in the
Mm,
sense that people are looking for ways to do things smarter.
mm,
Somebody who is looking for a house wants to sit in their house and search the options as against physically going to each and every option before they've even vetted them that first time. So
mm,
there is definitely going to be a whole lot more reliance on technology to be able to make that simpler, make it easier. Same also for those of us that are in the market. We are definitely leveraging a whole lot of technology to be able to reach our target audience, to be able to educate our target audience. I mean, even this session that we are having is a use of technology.
mm,
So people would use technology a whole lot more for information, for learning, for interactions, and all of that, all which would impact on the real estate market. The next thing would be about the innovation, because so in Nigeria there is this thing where you're starting to see a whole lot of people who normally would not be able to afford to buy real estate on their own,
mm,
but they are now starting to invest in real estate using technology. It's called fractional investing. So you're starting to see a lot of options where people are saying you don't just have to buy real estate because you want to own it, but you can actually start to invest in real estate, kind of like how you would do when you're investing in businesses as stocks and all of that. So you'll buy small fractions of it, and then you would then be using it to essentially make money for yourself. And I say this because it works.
mm,
It has become an avenue for people who normally would say, I cannot afford it.
mm,
I can't buy a whole property, but you can invest in real estate. And that also is starting to really grow, because that way people are then able to demystify the entire process of real estate investing, and they're able
yeah.
to get more clarity into how it is that it works, what it presents, what opportunities it offers, and all of that. Yes.
Yeah, and I think part of the innovation coming up now is rent to rent. You don't
Yes.
have to like buy a property, own
Buy a
that
property.
property. Just
Yeah.
there's just like
Rent
an
one,
agent.
set it up, and
There's
you rent it out.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's so many ways now, and it's so inspiring to see because
Yeah.
I can't remember anyone talking about it's just so recent I started hearing like, rent to rent. I'm thinking you rent from
Mm-hmm.
someone just to rent to someone else.
Yeah.
Ah, I'm making cool money then just because they do it a lot here. Well, not a lot,
Yeah.
but they do it here.
Yes.
All right, great
Sure.
stuff. Thank you very much for that. Those just joining us, you have missed a bit, so you maybe after the session you will have to rewind to get the full gist. Number 7, talking about hot markets. Are there specific regions or types of properties that you believe will be particularly attractive or in demand in the new year?
So personally, I'm kind of biased because I have a whole lot of data that
Hmm.
is pointing me in this direction,
Yeah.
and that is the direction of rental properties.
Hmm.
Because the financial ecosystem is what it is. There's already a decline in the number of people that can buy houses or buy property and all. So a lot more people are going to definitely be looking for, how do I rent? How do I rent a nice place? How do I rent a place that will work for me? So rental properties, I'm presuming are going to surge, and we've already started seeing that. When you look at data and you say, okay, what type of property, what aspect of property is it that people are looking for? What is it that people are demanding? You'd find that rental numbers are growing up.
Hmm.
More people are looking for places to rent, especially because we also have a young, growing, and upcoming population that is really fast growing, essentially. So where we would normally have parents who are looking for homes for their family,
Hmm.
now you're also having young people who want to live on their own.
Yeah.
So people are leaving home, people are leaving their families and in smaller cities and moving especially to bigger cities to say they want to go create a life. But as
Yes.
they're going to create a life, they're looking for housing. So I strongly believe that rental property is going to be one of the big things in 2024 and beyond. I also think that a lot of people who used to do rent as rent, where you would be renting out for a whole year, especially in Nigeria, because that's what we're used to,
Hmm.
that also may change because you now have people who are maybe coming to a town or a city like Lagos, and they are on contract, as against them going to stay in a hotel or a staff quarters for that period. They want to
Hmm.
rent a place that they can stay. So we'll now start having short-term rentals that people would need. This the last few months on their own, like people tend to come home for Christmas and all because they know that they're gonna stay for like 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks. They are no longer looking for, oh, where can I get a room, a short let that they would pay per day, but they're
Hmm.
saying, I want to pay per month. So that also is becoming something, especially in Nigerian market, that is picking up. And I really think that in the next year, it is only going to get so much more in demand, and it's
Hmm.
definitely is going to become a way that property investors would be able to capitalize and optimize their investments in real estate for in the year to come.
Okay. So, what would now be your advice to those who really want to buy or sell? What would you say
Um,
to them?
so someone who wants to sell, I would say be very sure that you want to sell,
Hmm.
and don't just think of selling as a way in which it is that you're going to get a chunk of money, right? Think of other ways it is that you can probably leverage your property to get the big chunk of cash that you would need, but keep the asset. as much as possible. But if not, please do go ahead and sell and make sure that you either still do something else or you're able to ensure that you get the best value out of you being able to sell. Because I mean, we will always have people who maybe they had a family home and then they want to sell the family home to get something smaller. There are instances like that. So those would be instances where yes, I would naturally say yes, it makes sense to me to sell. Now, people who want to buy, don't buy with your heart, buy with your head.
Head.
Yes. And I say this because every time people think, oh, I want to buy property, they're thinking, I want to buy a place that I like. You have a place that you are staying. Unless you are going to move into that property, buy with your head. Don't
Mm,
buy with your heart because if you're going to rent it out, you are not the one that's going to stay there. Somebody else is going to stay there. So when
mm,
you now limit yourself by the choices that you would make, and a lot of times because when we are the ones buying for ourselves, we now think of all the good things that we've missed in the properties that we are renting, and we say, I want my property to have this, I want my property to be this, I want
swimming
my
pool.
property to be that. And then you're going to buy the top end, and then you're now trying to rent out a property that you bought top end in an area that is just average.
Mm,
You will struggle to rent it out for the value that you want, right? So anybody who's trying to buy real estate in 2024, I'll say definitely buy and buy with your head, not with your heart. If you are also looking to buy real estate as an investment, then make sure that you work it backwards. You
mm,
go out and you do your research, you do your data, you get all gather all your marketing and all of that, so that you understand what it is that people need,
mm.
not what people want. Because people will want something, but then when it now comes to, am I going to get this or am I going to get that? The budget would always rule. So it's going to be about what they need, not necessarily what they want. So if you want to win, then always go for what it is that people need, not
Not
want as an
one.
investor.
Mm. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, Thank you so much. Those online, I haven't seen your questions yet or comments, but it takes me to this next question. Now, this next question is very, would I say tricky or one sided? Because in this part of the world, yes, you can start talking of environmental friendly, climate change. Is that applicable in Nigeria at the moment? Sustainability and green practices. How do you see sustainability and green practice influencing real estate decisions in the coming year? Well, I would say in Nigeria and outside Nigeria.
So, to answer to your question, whether these are becoming key to real estate in Nigeria, yes, it is starting. And
Mm,
it may not necessarily start the way that it would work abroad, but in Nigeria, one of the key things that comes with sustainability and green practices would be the fact that you now have a whole lot of people who are also needed to be able to work from home.
mm,
So that has also changed how houses and properties are built, are developed, are designed. Now, because people need to be able to work from home, it also means that the layouts for how the complexes are also going to change. They are already changing. Their developments are now considering the entire lifestyle of the person rather than just saying, oh, I just built houses and everybody's going to take it. Right. So that's how it basically factors, a lot more in Nigeria. Yes, there are also all these climate change incidences, climate change factors that are also being considered because we know that there is so much that is happening. So we are starting to definitely look out for ways it is that we can actually keep the properties, better. Yes, some developers are not considering it, but then those
mm,
that are thinking very long term, they want to be known for what it is that they're doing, they are considering all of that. Um, then if you were to also think about it from, okay, how do you as an investor ensure that you are sustaining your investment in real estate? The trick essentially is that you will think of what is it that you can invest in that has the highest use case,
mm,
in the sense that what type of property is it that you can take now, but in a few years' time, you can actually start to modify it. And we're starting to see this, especially with people who are building their own homes. And they're saying, I currently need a 4 bedroom duplex.
Hmm.
But by the time my kids start to move out of the home, we're only going to need like a 2 bedroom for us, the parents. And
Hmm.
then the kids would either want their own space and they would go away or stuff like that. So we're starting to also see people who are building their own homes consider this, and they are building designs that are able to be modified in future,
Hmm.
where they then split a 4 bedroom duplex into 2 units or 2 bedroom flats.
Hmm.
So these are just some of the ways and ideas that it is that this would apply. And I would definitely say that's definitely a way to go, because think about it. Right now we have parents. Okay, so when was the last time you came to your parents' home in Nigeria?
Maybe
Exactly.
the last time I went for the burial.
So you see what I'm saying, right? So now your parents have this house that they built, and a lot of us, when we're younger, we're very migrant. We become very migrant. We're going to where the opportunities are, and
Hmm.
then tendency for us to come back home is very low. So that property remains abandoned or underutilized and all of that. Whereas if it could be modified, it could
Hmm.
probably be put back into the market,
Yeah.
where it becomes again a tool as against it just being I mean, and as a thing that
Like a
you say, oh,
monument,
this is
yes.
own.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just yeah.
Hmm.
Because I'm wondering, has anyone done a survey of how many houses are vacant in Nigeria? Because some people just lock up doors. I don't know, I may be wrong, but that's what people have said, from people just lock up doors, they go abroad, and then the houses are just there, doing nothing, no tenants, no nothing. It's just empty, and then it gathers dust. When they come back, they clean it up, stay for 1 week, go back again. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, that feels like it's being underutilized. And then you see some, hey, come and see the cathedral they are living in. Just a sitting room is like a whole plot of land, and I'm thinking, for what now? Are you hosting a
Exactly.
party in your sitting room every day? So I
Yeah.
sometimes I begin to see why in this part of the world is all just what you need. What you need,
Yeah.
the
What you
box.
need.
You don't need. But sometimes because of the sometimes where we're brought up from, you just want
Hmm.
space. Let there be space.
Yes.
I feel boxed
Yes.
in. But
Yes.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
So
so
I mean, so
sustainability.
I
Yeah, go ahead.
think I think the way that I mean that would essentially factor in would be the person who is actually
Mhm.
building or buying. So it would almost always be that person. I mean, just you rightly said it. You say how people were brought up, how people have lived, how people what experiences they've had would also be a factor in how it is that they choose where they are going to live. So people who are choosing where they want to live would always have all of these specifications, whereas people who are looking at it for investment purposes don't necessarily come with these specifications, right? And this is why I say, if you're going to go into real estate, either as a developer or somebody who says you want to build properties that people would buy, and yes, you're building them for people who want to live in them. I mean, you would have to deal with that, because you would then have to be very careful about who it is that you're building for, and then what it is that these people want.
Yeah.
Customization is definitely going to be a thing,
Mm.
and stuff like that. So these things would definitely always be. I mean, we can't change it because people
Yeah.
want what they want. People will buy what they want,
Oh yes.
So
Yeah.
those type of things would be. And for people who tend to lock up their properties, I've stopped blaming them, to be honest, because you find that people who do that, they've bought very highbrow properties, and these properties tend to have either a high maintenance ticket, or they just have a whole lot that goes into it. So
Mm.
somebody who has bought something that is that pricey, or that is that customized or precious to them, that they say, oh, I don't want to just rent it out
Mm.
to
Mm.
people and stuff like that. They have a reason. And when they then say that they are keeping them unoccupied, it works. Sometimes it works for them. Sometimes it's just how they tend to preserve their own peace of mind, and as well also preserve their own property asset, property
Yeah.
as an asset. Because if you look at it, when tenants go into a building and they destroy it, the
Mm.
amount of money
Like,
you
you're
may
right.
have to spend may
Mm.
just totally erode everything that you thought you were making in
Mm.
rents. So it's so for them it's a here or there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And it then becomes a thing that you as the owner of the property have to think about, and you say, does this make sense for me? you know and a lot of times the people who have these type of properties that they will rather lock up are
Mm.
using that asset as collateral to the bank.
Oh,
So
okay.
when they use it as collateral to the bank would almost intermittently send a property valuer to go and check.
Oh,
So
okay.
when the property then gets beat up, run down, then the value comes down.
Comes
So they
through.
cut, yeah, so it doesn't work for them. So that's
Oh,
why
right.
I say I've stopped judging people who do that, because a lot of times, depending on what they're doing, it makes sense for them
Mhm.
to have
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about tenants destroying things.
Mhm.
You can tell me again. You can say that again. you know. But
Yes.
I guess yeah, that's anything you do to humans,
Hmm.
you end up either it's either going to be a good thing or it's
Exactly.
going to end up biting you. But
Hmm.
anyway, so good luck to those who are buyers and sellers and all of
Hmm.
that. Thank you very much. I hope you're gaining a lot from what has been said and what is being said. Thank you very much for being here. Challenges. Let's talk about challenges and opportunities.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, what challenges do you foresee in the real estate industry, and where do you see the potential growth opportunities for growth? I know you've talked about tenancy, renting
Mhm.
out. I don't know if you have any addition to that, because you've kind of answered that in the previous question.
So I've answered it from the societal perspective. Let's now answer it from the financial perspective.
Mhm.
One of the bigger challenges that currently exists, and I sense it's only going to get worse, is the access to financing for real estate development. That is truly starting to wane. And people who also tend to get that financing, they get it at a very high cost, which then means that when if I were a developer and I was getting money that I was saying I was going to use to build a project, but my interest on that is say 25%, then I have to layer that entire cost. Because when we call it cost of money, I have to layer that entire cost onto the cost of the property. What that also does is that it creates a ripple effect where the property, which could have been 30 million, for example, then becomes at least 37.5 without a profit margin, and then think about profit margin on top of that. So it then goes from being a 30 million naira property, and then it then goes to becoming maybe a 42 or a 45 million naira property. So you
Mm.
see that already creates a big problem. People who need to be able to get housing are then having to pay so much more. Developers who are unable to access this financing, maybe because they're saying, "Oh, I don't want to have to layer that type of cost," then struggle to do a struggle or work a whole lot more to be able to finance their projects, which then means that the projects would take longer, which then means that all of that would then also cause for a ripple effect where people who have probably keyed in earlier on then are having to wait so much longer.
Mm.
So these are some of the opportunities, the challenges that also create for an opportunity for people who want to invest. And I say an opportunity because it then means that um, people who are investment brokers like myself, and this is something that I'm also doing, I'm now saying that I don't have to go and look for one investor to come and give me 200 million or 400 million to do a project. I
Mm.
can talk to 100 people or 200 people and have them give me, say, 200K, 500K, or a 1 million naira, and then we pool all that money together and
Mhm.
then use it for the construction, and then everybody's happy. Now, what that does is that it helps the everyday person to also be involved and benefit from the largesse, the
Yeah.
wealth that can be created from this type of financing that then happens, and then everybody can make money off of it. Um, for people to literally be involved like that, I mean, yes, it would take quite a bit, but at the same time, it is an opportunity that I see is definitely, or yeah, definitely going to start to see more traction in the years to come, because it's working. People are doing it. People are enjoying the proceeds. People are creating wealth, and at the same time, it helps to give another type of investment asset to people who are looking. So if
Mm.
you come and then you say, "Oh, I'm going to invest my 1 million, my 2 million into this project because I see that this developer has, ticked the boxes and this and that," and at the end of the construction stage, I'm going to be getting maybe 20%, margin on my funds, then all well and good. For those who do it into rental property developments, where they can then take that money that they could have made and own a piece of that
Mhm.
property, then
Yeah.
they even get so much more value, because your value would keep appreciating for as long as you remain
Yeah.
in the investment. Yes.
Mm.
So I mean, these are just some of the opportunities, which basically would bring us back to the whole fractional investing
Yeah.
opportunity that I talked about earlier.
True, true. Thank you. Rama Gaffer says a lot of abandoned properties in Lagos are due to different reasons, like family feud and litigation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you very much, Rama Gaffer, for adding that. Now we go on to, I don't know if this is still relevant, but I'll put it up anyway. You still have anything to say about like personal professional goals on, do you have any specific goals or initiative related to real estate for the new year? Then we
Um. Yeah.
the last
So
question.
So for the yeah, so my goals for real estate have, over the past 3 4 years, they've really changed, in the sense that initially I came into real estate saying, "Oh, I want to be able to help people to buy their homes. I want to be able to sell XYZ,
Yes.
and stuff like that." But I've become more grounded in the sense that I'm saying, I don't just want to help people sell properties. I want to be able to help people own and make money through property investing. So I've started an initiative that is fractional investing, and the goal for that is to actually, in the next, say, 10 years, have amassed a really large portfolio, and a portfolio where it's not just about me, but it's also about people that are interested, people who are like minded, people who normally would not have been able to afford to put up a building that then makes money for them. So the fractional investing opportunity that I mean that works is the fact that you're saying you're helping a lot of people. And you know what they say? If you want to become a billionaire, you have to help many people to become, millionaires.
Mm.
I see real estate as that thing that would definitely help people to be able to do that. And in next, say, 10 years, let's look at how much, of a portfolio asset that we can be sitting on, definitely in the billions of naira. Yeah, so that would be that. Personally,
Yeah.
I want to see a better world for people who need to invest in real estate. Right now, it's so fragmented that people have to talk to like 10 different people to be able to go through the process of understanding real estate, getting started in real estate, managing the property, tying it into a portfolio, stuff like, you're gonna have to talk to so many people. But how do we come about an ecosystem where you can just log into one, and then it's like a one-stop shop? Yeah. So that's my personal goal. I want to be able to have that one-stop shop for people who are looking to invest in real estate and invest safely, and say, I don't want to have stress. I don't want to have high blood pressure. I don't want to be thinking, "Oh, what's my property doing? Is my brother going there? Is my brother not doing that? Is my..." And we, especially for people who live abroad, right?
Mm.
There have been so many stories where you say, oh, somebody living abroad was sending money to one uncle, one brother, one cousin, and you're just seeing pictures of a property, and when you come, there's nothing. These things have to stop, because on the whole, they're eroding the confidence
Yeah,
of in the investment market. So that, for me, that's going to be my personal goal. I mean, that is my personal goal. The
yeah,
next 10 years, let's clean it up. Let's see
yeah.
what it is that we can do. Foster a whole lot more investment, a lot more affinity, and just keep it growing. There's so much
Yeah.
potential.
I like that you mentioned that, because I was already thinking, with the collaboration kind of investment where, you bring this, you bring that, you gather it together and get something, and people start, like you
Exactly.
said, fraction, is a fraction investment.
Fractional investing. Yes.
Yes. So, but then some people have been burnt. That's the honest truth. I
True.
watch Brekete Family, and
Mm-hmm.
I've heard series of. It's like it's the same cycle. They invest in this thing. Somebody, like the pyramid thing. Oh, bring somebody, and then your interest increases. And so there's so many of those that they put their
Yeah.
money together in something, and then it goes down. The person either jackpots with their money, or the thing the person just disappears into thin air.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many, I can tell. So many.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, how do people put where? How do people? What are the red flags for people to watch out for when it comes to investing them? Because this thing we're talking about, is not just about, like they say, um, talk. We need to more talk and do. How do they
Yeah.
say now? That there's so much talking is cheap. Yes,
Talking is cheap.
they say
Yeah.
talking is cheap. Well, people have been burned.
Yeah.
People have spent their lifetime invest money working for years and putting
Mm-hmm.
so kind of investment, and they've just gone down the drain. They can't find the people, and we see it every day. I hear it
Yeah.
every day. What
Absolutely.
do you think are the red flags, and where do people go? How do people know that, okay, this thing you're telling me is the truth? How do you build someone's confidence who has been burnt and they want to start again?
So the first thing that I would say to that kind of person is go find knowledge. You have to learn about what it is that you're trying to then get into. If you, as a person that has been burnt, cannot even start by saying this is why I was burnt, then you will probably fall into the same situation again.
Mm.
A lot of times when I listen to people who come and then they say, oh, I want to invest in real estate, and we're talking, and then I sense that they are, skeptical. And I ask them, I say, have you been burnt before? And the answer almost always is yes.
Yeah.
And I don't blame people who then become very skeptical, because they've been burned before.
Mm.
And what they're then trying to do is they're trying to try again, but at the same time they don't want to be burned.
Yeah.
But if you, as a person who wants to get into real estate, you cannot first start off by gaining knowledge, then you're gonna have a problem, because
Mm.
what it then means is that you are believing everything that the person who's trying to sell to you is saying. Now, remember, people who sell, they are not necessarily always selling with your interest at heart. They
Mm.
are selling because they want
Yeah.
to make a sale.
Yeah.
So they will say and do almost anything to make you believe that they are selling you something that is good.
Mm.
But by the time you have bought it and you're into it, you will then find out that some of the things that they said were good were not necessarily good for you.
Mm.
So the approach that I take is that I educate. So I would educate you, and
Mm.
then I would sell to you. If you come to me and then you're saying, oh, that you want this, I mean, I would almost always take time to educate you. A lot of my content is around educating about how it is that you should invest in real estate, things to look out for, things not to look out for. So the first thing, it would always have to be education, enlightenment. You need to be aware of what
Yeah.
it is. The next thing would be, if you're trying to invest in real estate, understand what it is required for you to be able to do your due diligence. Due
Mm.
diligence can be different things. So think about it like someone who wants to buy food at a restaurant. You go there and they say, oh, this is our bestseller. Now, if you have allergies and the bestseller meal has that thing that triggers you, for example, seafood or nuts, and you just buy it because they said it was a bestseller, you're the one that's going to suffer it.
Mm,
But when you look at the things that are included in that recipe and you see that they are nuts, you would not buy that item. The same thing kind of happens with real estate. I tell people, I say, everybody can sell real estate. Not everybody has the rights to sell real estate.
mm,
So it boils down to education. It boils down to what you know, what you understand about how real estate can be bought, should be sold. And they're very easy. I mean, they're very easy strategies and all about that. What I'll do after this is I would send you a link that people can literally go to and start to just read, learn about ways that it is that they can do due diligence very easily. You can just add it maybe it's the caption of this video, and
mm,
whoever wants it can just take it. Yeah, because I mean, I put out a whole lot of content around it. But
mm,
yes, there will always be people who don't go through all of that and then they just say, oh, I just want to buy real estate.
mm.
So yes, those things happen. If you're also, I mean, you're on Instagram or you're on YouTube or on Facebook, you can just search for me and just go through my page. You would definitely find that you would get some information on there.
Okay. Thank you very much. The Nigerian realtor. I just
Yes.
followed now. I just
Okay.
because I couldn't search, I couldn't find you last time until I got the real page from you. Okay,
Right.
so you can see there on the web page. I'm sorry, on the Instagram page, she
Yeah.
says she does more of educating her clients. So you can see all the education, all the talks and and people who have benefited, all the reviews and so much more. So please visit that page, the Nigerian Realtor, and you will get more. She's on Instagram, she's on YouTube, and it
Yes.
will be nice to have you um, join the bandwagon, the nice bandwagon of real
Yes.
estate. Um,
Investors
estate
and
agent, yes.
owners.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that's page is Lerato Lekena
Yes.
Okoro. So please find the page and follow so you can get the right information. I wouldn't bring her here if she was not someone I would trust. And hey, she's a Fiji sister. If you call any name, if Fajikola,
Yes.
nobody can hide. So this is
Exactly. Somebody will
trusted.
find you
No
out.
one will find you out. They know where your father is, your mother is everywhere. So
Yes.
it's a part of a community, and so
Mm-hmm.
no one can dupe anybody. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
very much for finding time to be here. Final question. Final question now is come up. Yes. Any final thoughts or messages you'd like to share with our audience regarding real estate in the upcoming year? It is 52 minutes already, and it's over the 45 minutes we thought it will be, but
Yes.
it was good information, good education, and so thank you very much. In a final roundup, format, are there any final thoughts?
So, you who is thinking of what it is that you want to do in the new year, think of investing. Think of investing not just because people say you have to invest, but think of investing in the sense that you are looking at how it is that you can love yourself enough. I say that being able to invest for yourself is the first level of self care. On knowing that you are one financially independent would always be a saving grace. Two, knowing that you would always have your investment as something that would live on after you would also be another reason why you should start to invest. If you want to invest in real estate, you would also then be thinking about the fact that you are investing in something that other people can use to better their lives or enjoy a better and higher quality of life. If you want to invest in real estate, please, please, and please ensure that you get the information that you need to understand how it works, how it is that you can acquire it, and make sure that you are investing with your head and not necessarily with your heart. There's a big difference between people who buy real estate and people who invest in real estate. And a lot of times people don't understand it. But people who buy real estate are just buying it to acquire it. people who are investing in real estate are putting their money into real estate because they know that they want it to be able to work for them. Not every investment in real estate or not every acquisition of real estate is going to make you money. So you need to be able to make those choices very carefully and very strategically so that you are not on the losing end of the stick, and you are not going to be one of those people that will come up and say, oh, real estate doesn't work. Real estate works. You just have to understand or have somebody who understands how to make it work for you or work with you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the wrap. Thank you. Yes, just have to find someone who can make it work for you, even if you've been burnt before. Hey, look, we know it says if you fall 7 times, rise up 7 times.
Right?
Don't
So,
just stand there and
exactly.
say, okay, I'd rather bury my money like like that servant. I would rather bury it. But
Yeah,
hey, the productive thing to do, especially in the new year, is how to make it grow, how to make
yes.
that grow. So, thank you very much. Thank you. It's so inspiring to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
So I
appreciate it.
yeah, I wish you all the best, and I'm hoping our viewers will contact you to get more information about real estate. So please, you know where to go now. You can see it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Please contact her on Instagram, YouTube, and she'll be ready to hear you. So thank you, and
Absolutely.
I'll see you later.
Right.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye. You've heard it all. What else? I can't add, I can't subtract. It's all there for you. If you have missed any part of this, please go back and rewind, rewatch it, send it to people. There's so many people that need to hear this. You know, I can't say anything. Like I said, I can't add, I can't subtract. Just please do the right thing for yourself in 2024, and let us come back here at the end of 2024 to see, evaluate what we've heard. Is it working? Have you been helped? Have you been burnt and now you are enjoying better information? Please, let's make the right decisions. And I wish you a happy new year. Well, it's not yet the end of the year, but you know what I mean. So if you're hearing this in the new year, I wish you a happy new year as well. Thank you. And I wish you a lovely time. Have a good evening.